Welcome to Out of the Blue, number 19. This is the Gaggle of Jagoffs edition of Out of the Blue. Out of the Blue, number 19, so Scientific American special edition on the mind from 2007 says here, when to trust your gut or not, the science of intuition. Now, I'm going to relate this to something that was in the news recently. It's 2015 now, and in the news recently, the Pope said, Pope Francis says that Catholics should believe in evolution. And it seems to me that believing in evolution, because the Pope tells you to, is kind of like trusting your gut because Scientific American magazine suggests you should. We're going to get back to that. So, speaking of evolution, Evolutionary Analysis, 4th edition, Scott Freeman and John C. Herron. This is a common college level introductory evolution course book. And I took the course from John C. Herron himself at the University of Washington. Now we're going to look at this. I found this recently. This is the Northwest Maritime Center on Port Townsend Bay. And what this is a brochure when they were trying to get it built. This is a brochure with only drawings. And when I was in Port Townsend last month, I went there. And see, there's a scale model, there's a drawing, a painting, and it's there now. It's real. It was thought up, it was dreamed up, they drew pictures, and they built it. It's been there for a while now. No longer imaginary. Something that went from the imagination into real life. But what we're going to talk about today, so evolutionary analysis, part 1, introduction. Where did Earth's organisms come from? Why are there so many different kinds? How did they come to be so apparently well designed? These are the fundamental questions of evolutionary biology. The answers are found in both the pattern and mechanism of evolution. The pattern is descent with modification from common ancestors. The primary mechanism is natural selection. And here is a bo, our closest living relative. So, now, what I'm getting at, and now here's the Scientific American Mind magazine, memory grid in your head. So, some time ago, I asked the question of where do we find a cube in human physiology? Because in the book of Revelations, John describes heaven as a cube. And in Star Trek, the Borg ship is a cube. Well, here we have an article on this subject. The matrix in your head. And here we have a little paragraph. Grid cells populate cortical areas next to the hippocampus, long recognized as a center of memory. Many researchers believe the grid cells' spatial data enable the hippocampus to create the context needed to form and store autobiographical memory. A vital process that forms the very foundation of one's sense of identity. And so, previously we talked about the near-death experience, and Swedenborg talks about heaven, and the near-death experiencer and Swedenborg both claim to have traveled to another place. They've traveled to another realm. And John in Revelations claims to have traveled to another realm. So I'm suggesting here that it's possible that it only seemed like another realm. It's possible that they traveled to a place within their own mind that, in an utterly convincing way, seemed to be another place, but was actually within their own psyche. So this is where Neo-Swedenborgianism departs from traditional Swedenborgianism, because Swedenborg believed he was going to a real place. And we cannot accept that, but we can accept that he believed it. So essentially it was an illusion. Like this ball on a stick is an illusion. Illusions exist. And so, if you see it as an illusion created by the mind, it is no less powerful than if it is a real place, because there is something you might call the spectrum of believability. How believable is the illusion? And this is the real world here, trees and chairs. Let's call that one on the spectrum of believability. Now, the near-death experiencers and Swedenborg describe the world they see as more real. And so if you see something that is more real than something else, that usurps reality. It usurps what is real. So if I see this and I see that, and that seems more real, reality has been usurped by the other thing. Usurp. To seize and hold by force or without right. To seize or exercise authority or possession wrongfully. Usurpation. And Napoleon in France was sometimes called the usurper for the way he seized power. But it's important to note that Napoleon did not call himself the usurper. And it is important to note that the person who has had their reality usurped in such a way does not feel that their reality has been usurped. That is from our perspective. From their perspective, they have glimpsed a greater reality. For anybody following along in the Out of the Blue, this is that patch of what was barren dirt when the series started. There's our little native landscape restoration in progress sign. Now let's